So I'm all set up to cut the tenons on the legs. I've got my dado stack in the saw, and they're all going to be 1.25 inches and 1/2 inch deep, and then that'll leave the tenon that I'll transfer to the table after we're done. So just a last minute reality check before I start doing the final milling on these rails and getting some sanding in. Make sure everything's going to go back together once I do the joinery. So always a good idea. I've used Sharpie to mark all the points, and hopefully it goes back together just like this when I'm done. Okay, so I got the front of the base all clamped up, looking good. Everything's nice and flush. I'm going to be using the Domino XL to shoot large dominoes. Unfortunately, over here in this front left leg where the scissor is going to go, we're not going to get big dominoes in there. So I'll be going back to the 500, shooting some 8x40s. I'll double them up. We'll only be in this one corner. And we're going to have a cabinet down here anyway, so I'm not too concerned about it from a strength point of view. But unfortunately, I'm out of dominoes for the big boys. So through the magic of video, I'll make a trip to my Festool dealer and pick some up. I'll be right back. Alrighty guys, just like I promised back from the store, got our dominoes. These are 14 by 140s. That ought to be enough tenons to hold this bench together. So let's get rocking and let's see if we can get this thing dry fit today. Well, there's the base all dry fit up. The domino just worked awesome. Now I got to pull it apart. I'm going to glue it up in sections. I'll do the long sections first and then glue the ends last. I only have 2 of the long clamps, so I'll have to do those in 2 sections. Of course, all the center grid work and then pull everything together. But before I do all that, I'll go ahead and break it all apart. I've got everything labeled. I'll get it sanded, get it cleaned up, get it ready for finish, and then I'll start the glue up. Stay tuned. So this is a good place to stop. Just as a reminder, those notes you put on your parts, man, do they pay off. I had a note in there to double check the plate on the scissor because I didn't do that earlier, and when I did, it was about 1/16 of an inch off. Easy to correct on the bench, a pain in the butt once the glue up is done. So I just grabbed the router, threw a couple edge guides on it, cleaned it up, and I'm back in business. On the opposite leg, I had also forgotten to drill the holdfast holes. Again, that could be done with the bench in place, but it's just a whole lot easier when you got the leg standing alone. So dummy proof your parts. Leave those notes all over them. It's okay, they all sand off. Well, there you go, guys. Took me a little longer than I expected, but the first glue up is in place. The extra time it took me paid off because things are right. So, yeah, we'll let this cook overnight and we'll get after it again tomorrow.